They said I didn't belong here, but I'll show them. They've no idea what I'm capable of. Ethan Hayes tightened his grip on the edges of the worn podium, staring out at a sea of faces in the auditorium. His competitors sat in neat rows, their polished suits and confident smirks reflecting a world far removed from his modest roots. The stage lights bore down on him, their glare as relentless as the voice in his head. What if you fail? He wasn't just here to deliver a speech. He was here to prove that no matter where you come from, your voice has power. Ethan Hayes wasn't born into privilege. Growing up in the small town of Greystone, his world consisted of dusty roads, creaky wooden homes, and his father's endless shifts at the local factory. His mother had passed away when he was just 6, leaving his father James to raise him single-handedly. Despite their struggles, James always reminded Ethan, "You don't need wealth to make a mark. Your words can change the world." Ethan discovered public speaking in middle school when his teacher, Miss Harper, urged him to join a speech contest. It was the first time he felt seen, and he knew then that he wanted to pursue it seriously. But years of self-doubt, paired with snide comments from peers who mocked his small-town background, chipped away at his confidence. When Ethan learned about the World Youth Public Speaking Championship, he was hesitant to apply. It was a competition filled with prodigies from elite schools worldwide, kids who had private coaches and practiced in front of crowds since they could walk. But his father insisted, "You've got a gift, Ethan. It's time to show it to the world." James sold his old truck to fund Ethan's trip, a sacrifice that weighed heavily on his son's shoulders. From the moment Ethan arrived at the grand venue, a gleaming convention center in the heart of New York City, he felt out of place. The other contestants strutted through the halls with ease, their designer outfits and confident chatter a stark contrast to Ethan's thrift store blazer. Among them was Leo Morgan, the golden boy of the competition. Leo was everything Ethan wasn't: rich, charming, and effortlessly charismatic. From the very start, Leo made Ethan his target. "Nice blazer," Leo smirked during the introductions. "Vintage?" The room erupted in laughter and Ethan's cheeks burned. The early rounds were brutal. Ethan's speeches were technically solid but lacked the flair and emotional depth that the judges were looking for. Miss Carter, one of the most critical judges, openly questioned whether Ethan had the presence to make it to the finals. "You're too safe," she said, her tone dripping with disappointment. "Playing it safe won't get you anywhere in life." One evening, after another grueling day of practice, Ethan found himself wandering the quiet halls of the convention center. In a dimly lit corner near the janitor's closet, he met Mr. Finch, the building's elderly custodian. Finch, with his weathered hands and twinkling eyes, seemed ordinary enough, until he started speaking. "You're overthinking it, kid," Finch said, catching Ethan rehearsing in a mirror. "They don't want perfection, they want to feel something. Tell them your story." At first, Ethan dismissed Finch's advice. What did a janitor know about public speaking? But something about Finch's words lingered. Over the next few nights, Ethan began sneaking into the empty auditorium to practice with Finch. The old man had a knack for pulling out raw, unfiltered emotion. He encouraged Ethan to ditch the rehearsed lines and focus on vulnerability. "Let them see the real you," Finch insisted. Just as Ethan began to find his rhythm, disaster struck. The night before the semi-finals, Ethan returned to the practice room to find his notes shredded and scattered across the floor. His heart sank. It didn't take long to figure out who was responsible. Leo's smug grin the next morning confirmed it. But instead of confronting Leo, Ethan channeled his anger into determination. Finch's words echoed in his mind. "Tell them your story." He didn't need those notes. He had something more powerful: his truth. The final round arrived, and the tension in the auditorium was palpable. The theme was revealed moments before the contestants took the stage: prove yourself. Each speaker had 10 minutes to deliver an impromptu speech. Leo went before Ethan, dazzling the crowd with his polished delivery and witty anecdotes. The applause was thunderous, and Ethan felt the familiar pang of doubt. But when his name was called, he took a deep breath and stepped onto the stage. For a moment, he froze under the bright lights. The room was silent, waiting. Then he began. "When I was 6 years old, I lost my mother. My father worked double shifts to make sure I never went to bed hungry. He used to tell me, Words can open doors that strength cannot. For years, I didn't believe him. I thought I had to be louder, stronger, richer to be heard. But I've learned something here, on this stage. Proving yourself isn't about being perfect or outshining others. It's about showing up, even when the odds are stacked against you. It's about finding your voice, even when the world tries to silence it. Ethan's voice cracked as he spoke, but he didn't hold back. He shared his struggles, his father's sacrifices, and the fear of not being enough. By the time he finished, the auditorium was eerily quiet, then erupted into a standing ovation. Ethan didn't win the competition. Leo took the trophy, as expected, but it didn't matter. Miss Carter approached Ethan afterward, her usual stern expression softened. "You may not have won today, but you've got something far more valuable, a voice that people will remember." She offered him a scholarship to a prestigious speech academy, a chance to refine his skills and pursue his dreams. As Ethan left the stage, his father met him with teary eyes and a proud smile. "You did it, son. You proved yourself." Ethan's journey taught him, and everyone in that room, that success isn't about trophies or recognition. It's about resilience, authenticity, and the courage to keep going when no one believes in you. In proving himself, Ethan discovered the true power of his voice and inspired others to find theirs.